We're 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Make a few minutes of small talk and then start answering questions.
Well, let's start with the follow-up first, because people can always go back and review the follow-up.
Is it listed?
Hey,
this
guys,
time?
welcome to another episode of VTEC Academy. It's Midnight Oil Live. I've got Robert Diaz here from Hush Performance. A little bit later on, we're going to be talking about all-wheel drive swaps. Robert, you've got a YouTube series of that, right?
That's what we just started.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about that. But first, we've got some follow-up questions from last time. We have to start with Tone Frog posted on our YouTube channel. Would an NSX engine fit into an 05 TL? We were talking about swaps last time. I'm sure that's why he's asking. That would be an awesome build. Well, believe it or not, an NSX engine will fit in a TL, although you have to make mounts, but it will bolt up to the stock transmission using all but one bolt. So,
All the spacing's correct for the clutch and the flywheel and everything.
right, yep. So you would use I believe you'd use the stuff off the NSX, but it probably could use it off either of the engines.
You know, that would be a really cool swap, other than the fact that those engines are basically made from unobtainium.
They are not available.
While you were looking up those K24s, did
Yeah.
you look up to see?
NSX?
Yeah.
I haven't looked up an NSX engine for years, and last time I did was like 10 grand.
Yeah.
So,
Is that what
every
you're
time.
gonna do right
Gonna
now?
go on
Yeah.
eBay right now.
eBay.
Look
Yeah,
it up.
See what
do
one
that.
goes for.
All right, so Makita Diesel says all K24A2s here are either high or unknown mileage, rare or expensive in North Carolina anyway. The JDMs are available for about $1,000 and change. The Accord TSX manual transmissions are even more scarce. Well, I actually went online to car-part.com to look at that, and I will have to admit that they're more expensive than they are here. I found a couple of them for ranging between $500 and $1,100 with mileage ranging from 330,000 miles down to about 100.
There were a couple in there in the 70,000 mile range.
Yeah,
I think you read off.
Yeah, a bunch at 170,000 miles, which is around 750, which isn't horrible.
I mean, honestly, if you're tossing into your weekend car, 160,000 miles on TSX motor, the chances are it came out of an automatic car, really isn't that bad.
Yeah, and I was actually looking for the zip code of Raleigh, North Carolina, and all those engines were within 100 miles of there. I also looked on for the Accord transmissions, and I found quite a few of them for about $400. All again within 100 miles or so of Raleigh, North Carolina. So I do suggest you go to car-part.com and check that out and see what's locally available in your area, Makita Diesel, and see if some of those deals aren't something that you can afford. All right,
So, here are the NSX motors, by the way. There's 3 on eBay.
Ooh.
For the newer 3.2 liter, there's one at $14,700. And for
Okay.
the older 3 liters, both with 57,000 about 100,000 miles, they're about $10,000.
So, I mean, it's relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, really, not
the
that
price
bad.
hasn't gone up a lot in the last 10 years since I've checked.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
It sounds like a good
I
investment.
mean, what do the cars go for? 60 grand now?
Yeah, they're all expensive, unless they've been
Yeah.
wrecked.
Well, they're going up in price, though, aren't they?
They've been
Yeah,
going up for a
they've
while
been going
now.
up.
I remember, gosh, about 5 years ago, you could have a good used one for around $35,000, and now those same models are $60,000.
Sure.
I remember seeing Amir's, pardon me, Turbo K Series NSX at Super Lap Battle.
Yeah, we were at Super Lap Battle
That thing was
recently, and Amir,
epic.
Amir Benachu had a, I'm probably mispronouncing his name.
I
last
wasn't
name.
even going to attempt.
Okay, but anyway, he had a K Series powered one. Unfortunately, he blew up third or fourth gear, so.
Although I think he had it back together for the following day, didn't he?
He did. They made a big effort and got it back together. All right, so Lucian Harris from Facebook says, I can't wait, I'm putting a full, this was in regards, again, to the swaps. We thought we were gonna have Tage Evenson on, unfortunately he wasn't, and he has a K24A2 swap Civic. Anyway, Lucian says, I can't wait, I'm putting a full TSX swap with trans in my 99 EK with automatic. I bought the EKK4 mounts and engine bracket from Hasport on Friday, and also picked up an 02 RSX Type S engine harness. By the way, you did get the right mount kit. There's several different kits. That's the right one. I picked up an 02 RSX Type S engine harness and axles. I'm not sure if the axles work, and unfortunately they won't. The outer joints are too big, and the links aren't quite right. But The RSX Type S engine harness will have to be modified a little bit. There's going to have to be some stuff that gets moved around a little bit to reach. You're also going to have to convert the vehicle speed sensor plug to a countershaft speed sensor plug. And by the way, when you do that, you need to make sure you don't just simply change the plug. You need to actually get a 5-volt sensor voltage and a sensor ground. If you want more information on that, you can email me, brian@haspar.com. I'll tell you what needs to be done exactly there. But if you try to just simply change the plug, you're going to burn up that countershaft speed sensor. Anyway, he says also, I'm not sure what throttle body to use with stock TSX intake manifold. The one to use with the stock TSX intake manifold is?
To 0305 Honda Accord.
Right. They're cable operated.
Yeah.
Get the bracket too for the throttle. By the way, the Element one will work as well. And I would get the Element throttle cable because that'll go right on.
Yeah.
And it's a good length. And my next question is there anything else I need to be done that will keep the car from not running, like sensors or other axles? I'm very new to the K-swap. Me and my 14-year-old son are trying to put this little project car together. I'm looking forward to the live feed on YouTube. Thank you guys in advance. Carter, it's an automatic EK, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think he said it was an auto EK.
So what are some of the other things he needs?
The pedal assembly. I think the clutch is separate than the gas and brake, but obviously you're gonna need the brake pedal also for the
It's
manual.
thinner.
Yeah, for the thinner one. I guess you could cut it down and put a cover over it.
I've seen people do that.
Yeah, it seems almost like the simpler way to do it.
Yeah, if you had to pull it yourself, salvage yard, they're gonna be cheap enough. It's gonna be worth the effort to pull it.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
can have all OEM nice rounded and everything.
Sure.
Yep.
Beveled edges or whatever. But obviously you're gonna need, with the clutch pedal, you're gonna need the master cylinder and all the lines off of that. Well, not all the lines.
Not all
'cause-
lines. You probably
The
should.
reservoir, the master
reservoir,
to
yeah.
make the line.
You want to make a
Slightly.
line.
Yeah.
In fact, Robert can make a line for you. So get a
Yeah.
hold of Hush Performance. He'll make you a nice rated steel clutch line.
Yeah. Yeah, we made a couple for Emiliano and the swaps that they've been doing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
really, yeah, he likes that. I think that's pretty good, pretty clean setup.
We were talking about doing that on the Prelude,
Yeah.
the 93 Prelude that I'm doing.
Oh,
Okay.
Now, if you've
Awesome.
got the RSX Type S ECU, that's the one to use. Get it modified a little bit. You going to need an adapter harness to go from the engine harness to the car, and also just generally check out the VTEC Academy budget EG build.
Right.
Most of that will transfer over to the EK.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff will transfer over.
I'm sure there's auto to manual swap videos too that'll help you with the pedal assembly. And do you have to cut any holes in the firewall for the clutch pedal?
Not on
those?
that your car.
Not on that year.
No, it's not until like 2001 that
They stopped punching those
they
things
stopped
out.
punching the holes in. Yeah.
Okay. I've never played around with an EK.
And it's funny, the holes in the rubber
But
heat
not
shield,
on the
but
firewall.
not on the firewall.
Yeah.
But there's a nice flat spot for it there.
Yeah, you know where it goes.
Yeah. Anyway, but not on your EK. You don't have to worry about that. All right, last one. Paul Talbot. Paul had an H22. We talked about his car last week, and he had a high idle when he switched to a P28. I suggested he plug up the EGR, thinking that might be where the air was getting in to boost the idle. Turns out that's not it. The problem was the idle air control valve. On the car, your car he has, it's a 3-wire idle air control valve. His ECU is for a 2-wire idle air control valve, so it was opening up and letting air through. So once he figured that out, he went and talked to the people that did the adapter harness. They told him he needed to swap over to the 2-wire ICV or idle air control valve, and he's finding one of those, and there's a little adapter plate that goes with that as well. So hopefully, I'm sure he'll check back with us, but that should solve his problem with the high idle. That's the same thing that happens on EK. If you have a certain Civics, you have a 3-wire ICV. So if you're putting a B series in, you need to make sure you get the right, harness with the 2-wire idle air control valve. So a lot of people do that with the B series all the time.
Sure. Like if you're swapping into an EK, like if you had an EK already and you're doing your B swap.
Right.
We actually discovered that at Scott's shop, Collective Racing there in Tucson, when we were doing H22 swaps in the Accords, but wanting to use the URR intake manifold. he ended up finding one that was used that had all the things, and he just tried to make that work. And we found out that we had to make a little adapter plate in between the 3-wire control valve to use the 2-wire. That's how we've learned what to do, at least on that one. And then so we knew that transferred over when we started to do the EKs, because that took a little time to figure out
Yeah.
in the early days.
Yeah, we always just made a conversion to the harness, and then when you would, because one wire is the right color, and I think the other wire, and then one of the other 2 wires might be usable or repinnable. Like, I don't remember the details. It's been 17 years probably since I've done an EK swap for a B series, but I'm sure that information's out there, and I guess we need to do that and document it.
So while we're on the topic of swaps, Aaron has a question. He just bought a base RSX. It is a full K20Z3 swap from an SI. What's he need to put into his O2 base RSX?
K20Z3. So that's the 06 to 11 Civic.
Yeah. He's a base
Basically needs a
RSX.
proper throttle body, because he's gonna have the drive-by-wire throttle body. So the one that bolts on, of course, is the Accord one you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
There's also an Accord Euro R one from like the
It's
first
bigger.
couple of years, of the Accord Euro R.
The dogs are going crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, so that would allow him to have drive-by throttle cable. For the transmission, obviously it's countershaft speed sensor, so you're gonna need to convert over to the countershaft speed sensor connector. And then there's if you're using a Honda at a K-Pro, there's actually a hack you can do with that computer if it was modified by Honda in order to output the right vehicle speed sensor signal. We probably should do a video on that, since we have a TSX transmission in the 01 Civic. We could probably show people how to do that, because we have the vehicles, we have we have that same conversion in our car.
Sure.
So probably should do that. So anyway, so Robert, you
Yes.
have got an all-wheel drive. What is it? CRX?
It's a CRX, yeah.
Cool. So tell me, how far along are you with that project?
I still got a little bit of work left to do. We've been acquiring parts.
Oh,
for
so
like-
you're in the still gathering stage, kind of?
No, we pretty much have everything.
Okay.
That's time bolt it all on.
Yeah, pretty
Wouldn't that
much.
be-
Yeah, but it takes a long time when you're videoing the thing.
Right.
Oh
too.
yeah.
And so, we're a bit of delay, but really what happened with this particular CRX was I had sold it, and I was going to sell it as, I had a base model complete swap, RSX base model complete
Yep.
swap, and then the CRX came up, so I was going to put the two together and sell the car as a running car, and I still wanted to basically model that car after budget EF, since
Right.
we already had all those parts, and so it was just another way to market some stuff. And somebody bought it like that. And then I ended up getting a Type S motor after the guy had bought it, and actually he was from New York, so they don't have CRXs out there, and he wanted it, and he was going to get a swap out of it, for how I worked it. And then he's like, well, I want the Type S motor, so okay. And then I ended up getting all-wheel drive K-series transmission, and he's like, well, now I want that too. So he discarded, the A3 swap altogether, and then now that's what we're doing. So
That's one way to do it.
yeah, and so it's been since like December, but we've been acquiring parts since then. So now we're starting to do that, and so the motor's in. We're using the new EF all-wheel drive, AFK all-wheel drive mounts, that
Yep.
particular part number, and I did a whole video showing the update bracket where you're and it was a K20A2, so I had to drill it out. So it was a decent video showing how to do that.
Cool.
And
Sweet.
the battery box is in there now. The K-series shifter is in there now, which went really, really nice. I'm so
Yeah,
happy
you did
with
some
that.
different things to it this time, right?
Yeah, I really liked how it came. It was so clean. I was so happy with it.
So this is all on the Hush Performance
Yeah.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's where you can find it. And basically, I was just following up what we've already done on Budget EF, except this time around, you know, it's streamlined because we already know what we're doing.
Yeah, second
now.
time around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Budget EF, we still had we were figuring out what we had to do.
Yep.
And then now we have parts, and so now I guess the idea of the video is that it would just be turnkey. If you want to know how to do this, then this is maybe a series you follow
Right.
all the way through. Well, here's some parts. Here's an all-wheel drive part, right? So all-wheel drive, you have a drive line that's coming through the exhaust tunnel, and it's going to go to your diff mount. S1s, they're still sending us an updated diff mount, and what they do versus what the other guys are doing right now is, if any of you are familiar with the ASR rear subframe deal, I think those were the first guys that had the billet plate
Right.
that went all the way across.
Hold on just a second, we got dogs going nuts.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys talk.
All right.
Hey, come on.
The dogs are wrestling.
We have new dogs.
The dogs aren't restless, they're wrestling.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, so ASR,
Yeah. So it looks like that's basically what they modeled the idea after,
Got it.
right? So you got this big old billet aluminum plate that goes across the
Yep.
the lower control arms on the backside. Well, what they've done is there's bolt-on tabs that will hold the diff mount on the other side of that, and that's how FCS is doing it, and Hub City, they've done that. What S1 did is they just moved the diff back so that the axles would be more straight than they would be pushing the diff more forward. Well, to do that, this is what they've done. So what ends up happening is if you don't have something like what you see
so
here.
let me kind of explain it. What's
Yeah.
happening is, the drive shafts, when they come basically off, they pass right through the area where the shock connects to the lower control arm.
Right, so this would be one solid piece here, and then, so you have your diff that would be up here if it was mounted like how the other guys are doing it, and the axle angle has to do something weird, and it's really close. And S1 was focused on getting the axle geometry more straight.
Right.
But to do that, then it's total interference with the traditional. So what this does is, you would use this with a coilover that twists off from the bottom.
Like
And
a
then-
teen or a.
Yeah, and then you see this right here that's all threaded in there, and he'll actually ask you what shocks are you using because the thread pitch is different. So he's got
Yeah.
a whole list of thread pitches that are out here, and since our car is going to be a drag car, that one is pitched to the blocks drag springs.
Very good. So this is just a machine sleeve
Yeah.
with these mounting tabs tigged on. Really nice product.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good looking.
looks cool.
I was trying to figure out what that was for a while.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
Now
basically
that-
so the axle can pass right through there and go right to whatever.
Yeah, the other option would be to make some sort of a fork like on the front.
Sure. So that's an option, and they took it a step further. And then what trailing arms you use up to now were like modified stocks.
Right.
So they're using stock trailing arm, CRX, EG, EK, whatever they would have, bored out, and then weld on another plate that would hold a barrier.
The hub carrier, right.
Yeah, that's right. But then that wasn't enough for them. They took it a step further again, and I have that, which I can show you. Really
Yeah,
quick.
let's see what it looks like. Oh,
So we got a full cast aluminum arm.
now, S1 originally was thinking about making these billet, but obviously this
would
is
be-
much more effective.
Yeah, that I couldn't imagine the machine time and the
Oh,
cost of that.
Yeah,
Right. So it's much shorter than a stock shock or a stock trailing arm. What they did here is they got the trailing arm bushing integrated as a toe as well, right? So you wouldn't need the
oh,
extension.
it's adjustable, so
Yeah.
you can move it right or left.
Right, so that's your toe and the trailing arm bushing all in one. They're using a larger bearing here for the hub.
What's
So-
this off of?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. But I did know that it looks like they had to cast this. I don't want to put it on the table, so I'm trying to hold it and
Oh,
point at the
so
same time.
this is a cast piece, and this is actually probably like a Civic hub that's pressed into a bearing, a normal bearing.
Sure.
So there's probably a clip holding the bearing in?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Here you can see it from the back side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see if you guys can see that, the construction.
Can you
So-
move your glass, Brian?
So this piece right here with the hardware mounted on it, it's 16 pounds, and an OEM sheet metal is 17 pounds without any hardware, just the bearing. So
Right.
this right here, with the hardware that's on there and the Heim joint up here up front for the toe, it's a pound under, a stock
Very
car
good.
without any
That's
stuff
pretty
in there. So it's cool,
And S1 Built is the company that makes
Yeah,
this.
S1 built, and that's their little tag right there.
So that's pretty sweet. I
Yeah,
like the part number on it too.
well, I can't even see
S1 1320.
it. Nice,
Yeah.
1320, very good.
Yeah.
I dig it. Yeah.
So if you were to use that for, say, a road racing application, is there any downside to not having the full length arm and having the toe adjustment at the very front of it? Is there?
Probably, but depending on your spring rate, it may be minimal.
Okay.
Because what winds up happening is the way the,
Because there's less leverage over. Or you're changing the point
for
of.
me or Robert, because I'm coughing. I just wanted more tequila.
I can do that.
So what winds up happening is the geometry changes under compression. So the geometry change is going to be different with that type of trailing arm.
Yeah.
But for most road racing applications, you can have fairly stiff spring. So and that seems fairly adjustable. So you should be able to adjust it so it doesn't work. As a matter of fact, the Prelude uses a series. It doesn't have the same type of trailing arm that the
Like
that
EF,
the EF,
BG,
BG, all those do.
everything
So
else
it's probably
has.
still acceptable. Without actually plugging it into some software and sweeping the suspension and seeing what's going on, I can't tell you what it's doing to roll centers and stuff like that. But it's probably okay.
Okay. I mean, they're building for
probably
drag
isn't usable.
racing, so it's not
Right.
the same.
Yeah. So, but they may have done that engineering. I know the guy at S1 is a pretty smart guy, so he may have actually done that engineering, and he may find out that he may have decided that it's, good or better or perfectly fine or whatever. So, but yeah, I don't want to. Without actually, seeing what it's like, I don't really know.
Yeah. We had questions about that, and it's like, well, I'll let you know.
Yeah,
It's still,
exactly.
Still kind of early in the
Well,
game.
what we can do is we can actually take the springs off the shocks and just run it through the sweep and see what it does.
Sure.
See if you're getting, toe changes or, or just camber changes or what's
Yeah.
going on exactly. So,
You're really been static all of a sudden.
we got static.
Yeah, I don't know why. Something. It's really loud.
Oh, the static's really loud?
Yeah.
See what happens when,
Give us 1 sec. We'll try and figure it out.
oh, did somebody complain?
You have like 5 people in a row.
Years. Fixed.
No? Went away?
It went away? Which one did it go?
It's gone, it's good now, fixed. Everybody's saying it's good. Yeah.
The sound fine?
All
Sounds
right.
okay.
What was the last
It's a
thing
little
you
bit
guys heard? How about that? And then we'll
Oh, yeah.
try to follow up.
For the most part, it's gone. All right.
Aaron says it's the K24s are complainers.
Oh, there's K24 pen and K24 Lifer. We're both talking about. That's funny. Sorry to distract. I just wanted to fix that because it happened last time too. I don't know what.
Right. Well, I'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe,
This cabling's a bit old. Maybe we need to update it or something
The
like that.
tequila fixed it is what they've all decided. Yeah,
keep this full.
yeah,
Okay.
apparently that's the key.
All right.
Well-
We'll have a fifth person here next time to keep the tequila full.
Somebody said just have another drink. I did.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't hear a thing.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So where were we at? I apologize for interrupting us all.
no, that's okay. It was, problem we needed to fix. All right, so,
We also got some other
Uh,
good questions, by the way, if we have
yeah,
time.
let's take a pause for some questions.
All right. There's another one.
It could have been the water, when you brought me water. I think that's when it started.
I think so. Yeah, so I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have the question, but somebody else does, who was watching, Robert's, how to yard video.
Oh, great.
And he's got a K24A8 putting together a VTEC head from the yard. This is K24 Lifer. What exhaust cam do you recommend? And also, what do I need to do computer-wise to make it work?
What car does he have?
No.
Oh,
Road
you know, I
motor,
guess that does-
K24,
A8.
K24 A8.
A8.
So the 05 to 07 Accord motor, 06, 07?
0607?
He's putting together a VTEC head though, so he's wondering what the best exhaust cam out of the yard
Well,
would be.
okay, so that was going off of something that you were telling me about, or maybe I misunderstood it. Where the intake, like a VTEC 3-lobe intake exhaust, those cam lobes can also go on the exhaust side.
It's an
Oh, the VTEC killer setup where we
Yeah, but the
discussing?
opposite.
Oh, the opposite, okay.
It's, yeah,
07
VTEC's already dead on that one.
Yeah.
07 Accord is what he.
Yeah, 07 Accord engine. So
Yeah.
what winds up happening is there's no other camshaft that is, okay, basically that camshaft has a single lobe single lobe is what it is. So the problem is if you change it to like a VTEC killer setup, let's say you take one off of a TSX or something like that and run a big lobe, you're gonna wind up with probably too much on that side.
Sure, piston to valve.
Without, yeah, exactly. Well, I don't think there's gonna be a piston valve clearance problem. I just think there's just gonna be too much duration and everything on the back end of it without changing the front side of it either.
Sure.
And so, and there's no difference between the camshafts. You know, if you've got the exhaust camshafts, I believe, are the same on all of them, unless you do like an aftermarket cam. And I think the only person that makes an aftermarket, the only person that has an aftermarket cam anymore might be Brian Crower. I'm not even sure about that. So,
All right. I think I think I understand which video they were going after, and it was most likely one of my last videos, which is called like "Let's Get Real," like what's really in the junkyard. Right.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff that I post is what people want to see. Like I got a GSR, I got a Type S. You know, those ones people were like, "No way you found that." Well, like, yeah, but I had to drive 100,000 miles this year to get all those things, right? But if you were to go down to any yard, any random time, usually on a weekend when anything good that you want's already gone, right? What's really there, and how can you put something together? And so that's what I did. I found AP3 transmission, which that doesn't happen either.
Yeah, that's rare.
Right, you probably find a Accord
yeah,
transmission.
you
or
find them
something
twice
like
a
that.
year, EP3 transmissions,
Yeah,
twice a year.
But you'll probably find a Accord transmission, and then you could find like a CRV transmission or something like that. And there's been times where I've seen a few TSXs out there that had a rod thrown out. Well, then you grab the cams.
You grab the head too.
You grab those things off of those, and then what I was showing them is you could assemble all the stuff in the yard right there, instead of coming back at different times to where it adds the cost, where it's all on at one time. You know, I was showing them like
Swap the cams over.
yeah,
swap it,
like even like because I had a TSX motor, but then I had the EP3 was there too, so I grabbed the EP3 water neck and I put it on the TSX, and I had all the EP3 alternator and the AC compressor. I put all that stuff on there, and then the pulley, and I even grabbed the belt off of the EP3 too, put it all in there. You know, and then I took the EP3 intake manifold and swapped it off with the TSX, and I put that on there. And
That's funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a whole motor swap like I did right in the yard, and I didn't have to come back and forth because everything was there. So
That's an
pretty
interesting
nice.
way of doing it,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean.
It's a good way of
so-
saving money, right? And getting nickel and dime.
So I,
Yeah.
yeah, one time I was down, I found an 06 TSX that basically had a rod knock, so I grabbed the head off that. It didn't occur to me, it should have, didn't occur to me to go find an Accord motor, pop the head off that, put my TSX head on it, and, you know, and build something that was a little bit better than, you know, what was there already.
yeah,
That would have actually been a good idea.
yeah.
Yeah, and they don't
So-
charge much more for the
Well,
for the
yeah.
rest of the motor.
But I'll tell you, I've twice I found TSX heads on blown blocks in the salvage yard, and I think I paid $1.25 for one of them with cams, and I paid $60 for the other one without cams.
Nice.
Yeah, one and I had a pile of 06 Civic Si cams, so I didn't really care about the cams, but I did grab the whole heads. So, and it's interesting. I'm going to go ahead and build a motor here coming up using one of the TSX heads and one of the Accord bottom ends.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to be doing that here pretty soon. So, yes.
John has a question about all-wheel drive. He wants to do an all-wheel drive on his CRX, like you were just saying that you're doing, but he's
Baby.
not gonna be running any boost. So do you think it's worth it doing it that way, or is he just not gonna get anything out of
Well,
it?
to be honest, I don't have anything to compare it to. You know, I haven't done one. This is it. This is the first one that we've done. I mean, not even our car is all-wheel drive yet. You know, we're planning on it, which is our blue hatchback, if you're familiar with that one. But I don't have anything to compare, so I couldn't tell you, except that, you know, all these videos I see guys that are, they're 60 foots, like 130s.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there was a video that went a little viral between all the Honda community, and I can't remember the build, but apparently it was something mild, and the guy, after he got a slip, was just freaking out. It's like, there's just no way, there's no way, and he was just totally just freaking out. There's just no way I did this. You know, it was like 860 on drag radials or something like that. You know,
Yeah,
it was looking-
exactly.
I was
Yeah,
like,
the traction's amazing on those
Yeah.
things, because, even on a stock engine or a, you know, B16 engine or B8
Yeah.
or B20 engine, you're gonna spin the wheels.
Yeah.
If you take off hard enough. And if you're running a street tire, the spin's even worse. You're running a drag radial, it spins pretty bad, you know? It's not until you're on a big ass slick that it's, you know, that your traction's pretty good. So you're definitely gonna find some improvement with all-wheel drive. I mean, it's gonna accelerate faster. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah, if you know, just,
There's no reason you can't run naturally aspirated on that.
Sure.
you're probably not
Wrong.
getting, that low horsepower, if you were doing any kind of corners, you're probably not gonna notice the difference with all-wheel drive. But coming out of the hole or going autocrossing or,
Yeah.
you know, just leaving the
Taking off
light
and
against
leaving
that
the light.
Camaro that wants to
Sure.
rev at you, you're gonna notice the difference for sure.
Yeah,
Well,
Especially on a unprepped surface.
on an on-prep surface.
to
yeah.
answer that question a little better, though, that's what I do plan to do with this build. Is we're gonna go out there without the drive line on, and then with it on. You know, so we could actually see that difference.
Get some
Yeah.
numbers,
Yeah.
get some
I
real
remember,
numbers.
I remember watching our old wiring guy Brian launching his all-wheel drive Wago van with the K in it.
He could barely spin the tires.
Yeah, with those mutters he had onto it, 30-inch mutters or whatever, and he'd launch it in the street and they'd chirp and go. That
Yeah.
car,
That car took off.
yeah,
Yeah.
that car took off well.
So, yeah, you're gonna
It's
have
still
an
one of my
advantage. Is it worth it? Sure. It's always worth it. And, you know, I'm sorry, that's just the way I feel.
Okay, well, maybe it's like cost, right? So
Oh,
right now, it's
autocross
still-
car. He says
Oh.
an autocross car.
Oh, okay.
That's gonna be interesting. It'll get you out of the hole a lot faster. I would imagine on tighter courses, it's gonna be more effective. On bigger courses, less effective.
Yeah, especially depends on what size tire you're already running up front. If you know,
Yep. Yeah.
if you have a
Still.
sticky enough tire up front, you know, you might not be spinning it.
You know, it's funny. I so want to build one of our wagons with all-wheel drive. Because we already have the parts. We really should just put one together and then go autocross it. And I would definitely rally cross it. But we should go.
Oh yeah, we should go rally
Yeah.
across it and
We should go
autocross it. And we have some really tight tracks
Yeah,
down south, or that go-kart
Yeah.
track. See what it's like.
I
There's
think
some,
that would be good.
yeah.
Yeah.
See if it really helps launch the car out of the corner, or if,
Absolutely.
and we could just pull the drive line off while we're there and test
Sure.
it both ways, see where our lap times go.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, there's a fine trade-off between loss of power because you're driving more mechanical stuff and, you know, gain of traction. So, you know, there's going to be points at which it's more effective and points at which it's just going to eat power needlessly. So, but anyway, yeah.
I got a question from Honda Tricks. Would it be possible to swap an L15 V7 into a Gen 2 Insight?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I already have mounts for it.
Is this the one you're working on for the Fit also?
Second gen fit and CRZ, all the same mounts. So we haven't put them in production yet, but if somebody wants to order them, I'll be happy to put them in production. No problem.
Nice.
So yeah, it'll fit right in there.
Someone's asking how we make our colored mounts at Hotsport. They're anodized.
Yeah. We have a couple of companies we use locally to anodize them.
Oh, and Nelson's actually asking on the all-wheel drive subject also. Says he has a 2012 TLSH all-wheel drive 6-speed drivetrain, manual drivetrain. He's wondering if he could swap it into a 2015 Civic Si chassis. do a K to J conversion. Any ideas on what it would take to get that done?
We haven't made those mounts yet.
Okay.
Couple things on that. I recently CMM'd the all-wheel drive transmission mount bracket. So we are going to be making an all-wheel drive transmission mount bracket
For J series?
for J series.
For just the TL
Yep.
Type SH?
Yep.
Because that's the only
And actually,
manual.
you can actually use the bracket we currently make. So you could use it in EG, EK, DC2. You could actually, or even CRX. You could use that. It uses 2 of the 3 bolts that are mounted there. I'm gonna add the 3rd bolt in. So that's something that you could do now. The plan is to build a new bracket that incorporates all 3 bolt holes on that bracket. So that will be something, and then the other J-Series stuff just works, okay? So there will be mounts for that particular generation of Civic. I actually have that chassis here. It's owned by Michael Hinton, and we will be doing J-Series swap mounts for that. I'm sorry we haven't gotten to it yet, but we've just been incredibly busy because people won't stop buying stuff, and we got to make it all the time. Okay, I'm kidding.
Every day.
Yeah, so, sorry, a
Tough
little joke there.
Tough problem to have.
We always make jokes about, if it wasn't for customers, we could get some work done here.
Yeah.
But anyway, so hoping this next year, we'll be able to get,
So I'm sorry,
finish that, wrap that up.
You didn't really
So the
answer,
J-Series.
so it would be possible to
Oh,
put the
absolutely
J
possible.
series all-wheel drive?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be sweet.
In fact, it fits pretty well in both the 8th and 9th gen Civics.
Yeah, well,
like
he's
close
putting,
the hood
I
and
think he's
everything.
using K series motor though,
J to K.
No.
K to J.
Say that again? I thought he wanted to use the TL Type S all-wheel drive
Oh, no,
transmission.
it was a J to K.
No, he wants the transmission, but he wants, I believe, the K series engine.
Oh, then he's got to make an adapter plate.
Okay.
So,
But the drivetrain wise, you could get it in
oh
there.
yeah, the drivetrain ride, we can get it in there. Well,
Don't know about the rear end.
he's gonna have to make, so here's the problem with that. He's gonna wind up doing custom fabrication. I'm not gonna do custom fabrication for the J transmission with the K series engine bolted up to it. And the reason I'm not gonna do that is because it's gonna require 3 new mounts, or 3 new brackets.
Yeah, do a
And-
K to
Right,
J.
it'd be, yeah, I'm gonna do,
Just
you know,
straight.
J series all-wheel drive, and I'm gonna do J
J to
engine to K
K
transmission.
transmission, yeah.
But I'm not gonna do K engine to J transmission. It's, you know, sell 2 of those.
I might have misread
You
that,
know,
but it says
in
do
20 years.
K to J
Yeah.
conversion.
So,
Yeah, it says K to J
yeah,
conversion.
I mean, he's gonna have to do the fabrication. I mean, obviously, we have a mount that would go on the one side, he'd have to make a bracket for it, and
Yeah.
we're gonna have a bracket for the left side at some point, so he can make a mount, or he can make a bracket to that, you know. And those are bolt-on in that particular car, so that's relatively easy to do. For the rear mount on that particular car, it mounts in the subframe, so I don't think there's any bolt holes that are available to do that right there, so it would require a little bit more fabrication, but anyway, it could certainly be done. I mean, we do this stuff all the time. The problem is, when I'm choosing stuff, I have to choose stuff that I think I'm gonna sell at least 10 of them a year, you know.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading through. Emiliano's actually in here answering a bunch of questions.
Oh, good for him.
Obviously,
Thanks again, Emiliano. Wish you were here.
Yeah.
He wishes too, it seems like.
Yeah, very true. Oh, here's one. Is it feasible to swap a K24 A2 with 6-speed into a 2012 Accord Coupe?
Yeah, bolts right in.
2012? Oh, yeah. But wouldn't you want the newer K series for that generation Accord?
That,
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
My phone did
Could you
too,
please
but it's
2012. I'm thinking 2011. Wait, no, what's the range on that? 2000?
2009 to, or sorry,
Yeah,
2008
2008 to 2013, so it bolts right in, using
Okay.
K-series mounts.
I thought those had the newer motors for some reason.
No, not until 2014.
2014,
Yeah,
okay.
so yeah, bolts right in, using stock mounts. So
Nifty, so it'd basically be like the swap in my,
it'd be like
07.
swapping your 07 Accord, putting a TSX motor in there, just use the stock mounts. And I would bet the ECU is largely compatible. So probably just use a TSX Flash Pro or a Does K-Tuner make a cord flash, or a cord K-Tuner for that year? If they do, you would use that.
I don't
So,
know.
yeah,
I'm
use
sure
the
they
Accord
list it on their
harness.
website. They
Yeah.
make a lot of that
Yeah, so check with Honda to check with
less
K-Tuner, see
popular
if either one of them make
stuff.
it. Yep.
Sorry, I'm just going back through stuff. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys
no
have
problem.
anything to talk about.
So Gearhead wants to know if, sorry, just a second. So are the starters all the same on the K series?
They're not the same, but they're all interchangeable. And, yeah, from the all the K20, pardon me, K20A, K20Z, K24A, K24Z, they're all interchangeable. The difference is
The signal wire.
the signal wire
Yeah.
and where it's located. Like, certain ones don't work well with aftermarket superchargers, but they're all usable, and the plugs change occasionally.
Solenoids external versus internal. kind of
Right,
thing like that,
exactly.
yeah.
So that plug, sometimes they have the old style plug where they have a rubber grommet with just basically a blade, a female blade, and other times they have actually a plastic connector that goes on.
Yeah.
But that connector is available from either, I believe, Corsa Electric, Corsa Technic. So you could, change it if you needed to, or just do a blade on there and just connect it regardless. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all interchangeable.
Yeah, that makes it nice when you're out in the yard and you just need a starter.
Yeah,
Or a
even the
case.
automatic ones. You pull
Yeah.
the automatic one, you're good to go. Because that's what I put on the '01 Civic. Had a bad starter.
I put that in my Accord too. I put an automatic one that was already laying outside of the car.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, perfect.
Yeah, that's right. We were
Somebody
walking
pulled
through
the
salvage yard.
transmission.
Somebody pulled the transmission. The starter was laying there. We just picked it up
Yeah.
and bought it, and it was like perfect.
Because K-Series starters isn't going bad. I've gotten really quick at getting the starter out of my Accord though, because
Oh, dude, I can change those things so fast.
yeah.
Yeah.
Except
the
for
other
on
day, like
series.
at 10 minutes till time to leave, I walked out, pulled the manifold, changed the starter, put the manifold back on, fired it back up, drove home. It was
Okay.
like 3 minutes late leaving
Yeah.
work.
I did on my lunch break
Yeah.
a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Aaron, who was asking about the Z3 swap in his base RSX, said, "Can I use the NOx sensor and other sensors from the A3 for my Z3 to retain the A3 engine harness?"
Yes, absolutely. The only thing you can't do is bolt that throttle body on, because the bolt pattern's different, unless you get an adapter plate, and then you can bolt it on too.
Yep. Oh, like 3 other people, literally, as we were answering that one, and answered the
Yeah,
same.
and answer the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miliana's helping out with the answers.
Yeah.
Did you see the question at 824 from Jinx Tacey? Because I don't know if I'm going to read this right. It's unusual. Do you think an Auto Accord 2.0T, does that mean turbo?
Yeah.
Turbo.
Turbo would make a neat power plant in an MR2, or just stick with
Oh, it
the
will never fit.
K20s?
It would never fit.
Never fit.
The MR2 is not big enough. Yeah,
So-
it barely fits the K series. I'm sorry, the
Older
K20A,
K-series.
K20Z.
K20s.
It would
Yeah.
never fit a K20T. K20T is wider, taller, fatter, won't fit.
It's a big box.
It is. I suppose if you tube frame the back end of the first generation MR2, you could get it in there, but any of the other MR2s, not gonna fit.
No.
Yeah.
Robert,
and-
Tom wants to know, did you leave any K24s in Colorado or for him to pull, or did you take them all?
There's gonna be plenty of Accord K24s there. I left them all right there for you, man. They're just waiting for you.
Yep.
Oh. Gearhead was asking because about are all the starters interchangeable?
Uh-huh.
He's getting a grinding noise on cold starts. It's funny. Both. Pardon me.
By the way,
Willys-
tell me if it starts hissing, because I just finished my tequila.
Some people have been complaining throughout. Like I've heard
Just-
2 comments,
yeah.
Alright.
but other than that, I haven't seen much. So
Could it be going?
yeah, maybe you should stop that.
Okay, stop.
More tequila.
Yeah.
More tequilas. Okay.
But no, I'm sorry. It's funny because both Roy and Willie's EP3s had a little grinding
grind.
noise on the first start up in the morning sometimes, or right after we leave work, or right as we leave work, like right when we let the key off. It seems like they, yeah.
So I've had a couple starters where the teeth looked raunched on them when I took them off.
Yeah.
And these
And-
were OEM starters?
OEM starters. The flywheel looked fine, but the teeth on the starter looked just absolutely ground up. So, and I would imagine it has to do with the, what is it, the Bindex? Is that the thing that thrusts the thing? I would imagine it has to do with that. So,
Is
because
Brandon?
there's like a bevel on them, and they are supposed to engage, positively when you turn them on. But I've had a couple of them that just didn't do it right.
We've got a question from Dave. He wants to know if the EF K24 fitment with innovative cross member, does it clear or do you have to modify the radius rod?
You probably have to modify the radius rods because the radius rods are, oh, actually, I'm sorry, let me take that back. Here's the deal. A couple of companies, and I think K-Tune does this, and maybe Innovative does as well. On their radius rods, they actually take and they widen them a little bit. So they're not where they normally are, so they're widened a little bit, so they do clear
Yeah.
the end of the transmission and the crank pulley. So I believe K-Tune does that. I've never seen an Innovative on a car, so I'm not positive about that, but if they widen it slightly, it would fit as well.
Well, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Go
I
ahead,
thought
no.
you were done with your.
Please.
I'm sorry. Okay, well, on the CRX that we have at the shop.
Yeah.
In Budget EF and many cars that I built, we use full race. Full race, you know, it was a little partial, at least to me, because it's Arizona based. I had
Local.
friends that worked there, you know, and so we all try to help each other. But I knew this car was going to East Coast, and they're all about the innovative over there, and at least with the traction bar
Sure.
for sure. EF guys, East Coast, know that they'd like diehard innovative, and so I didn't want to send him home with a full race one, knowing that he might get some backlash for that,
Yep.
for being on that side of the country. So I did get one, the innovative version, which is sheet metal. If I don't know if you've seen
Oh,
them.
I've seen them, yeah, they're
Right, and then
kinda
they have
square. Mm-hmm.
they have billet arms too. And so I'll be able to answer that question in the next couple of episodes because I have one, and well, I could always bring it by so you can take a
Yeah,
look at
sure.
it too. So
Yeah, we'll check it out.
So,
Yes.
Nelson, you were talking about this earlier about the K to J
Yeah.
conversion. Okay, so do we have mounts that, he can do some fabrication work, but do we have mounts that are going to, no, we do not.
No,
Yeah, wait. This
To
is the
hold
guy
it.
that's doing the K to J?
the K
K
engine.
motor? Yeah,
J
we
transmission.
have, what I have is I have
Oh, I
a,
guess we do.
I have a mount that bolts to the block side of the engine. That will be fine.
Okay.
I have a bracket and mount that bolts to the transmission that he can then make a bracket that goes from the frame rail up to the mount. So I do have right and left mounts, and he would just have to construct brackets that came off the frame rail. And then for the rear, that would be a little bit different, because typically on a K series or on a J series, typically on the J motor, try not to get Siri upset. It bolts to the back of the block, okay? And typically on a K, it bolts to the transmission. So what I would suggest you do there is, and he's got a 2012 Civic Si, so that mount is even farther to the right, so it won't line up with either of them. So what I would suggest for that is fabricating your own rear bracket and torque mount. And I would move it towards the transmission, but it doesn't need to be attached to the transmission. So, anyway, it's gonna require some sort of a custom rear thing. You know, so you're gonna need to make a bracket for the right frame rail, left frame rail, and some sort of mount for the rear. And what I do have for the rear is I have a torque mount that I would suggest using, and that would make it fairly easy to make brackets that would fit for it.
And I also told Nelson to email.
Yeah, you can email
Brian.
Brian@hassport.com, and yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be happy to
Might get a little
give you
more
I'll give you my best,
guess.
I'll give you photos that will tell you what I know, you know, will at least point you in the right direction, so.
So somebody else was on here asking, where to go. Is the Accord transmission better than TSX? Why? A lot of people are saying that they like the Accord better because it doesn't have the magnesium case and they think it's stronger.
Absolutely.
I
That's
hate
the reason
the
it's
Accord
better.
transmission.
That's why it's better. Well, so first of all, the Accord transmission is 5-speed.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
and you could put, you could put a gear in between first and second. They're so far apart. It's ridiculous.
It's got, yeah, there is a lot of space between, there's a wide gap between the gears, because it's 5-speed, so they're trying to, they're covering in 5 gears what the TSX covers in 6
Yeah,
gears.
because the TSX 6 gear is the same ratio as the Accord fifth
Fifth,
and the
right.
same final drive.
Right.
But I mean, in a light car, like we have the Budget EG with an Accord.
It's fine.
5-speed. It's fine.
Yeah.
You don't really notice the
Yeah.
loss of power. And I've tracked that car. It's great. But like in my heavy Accord, when I put the 6-speed in, it is so much nicer to drive with the 6-speed than it is the 5-speed.
I've got a novel suggestion.
Yes.
I say get the 09 to 14 TSX 6-speed,
Okay.
because it has aluminum cases, so it's stronger. And I think that's a better choice. And you can find them for a good price in some areas of the country. But you don't see, and on top of that, if you get the 2012 to 2015 Civic Si transmission, I found a bunch of those for $650, and they have LSD.
I found those, I think in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
they have them for the cheapest.
Yeah. Well,
This
I found
was
a
on
bunch
the car
of.
part.
Huh?
This was on the
Yeah,
car part.
car-part.com, absolutely.
Yep.
And those can be shipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're light enough
transmissions
to be
are-
shipped.
Yeah, K-series transmissions are under 100 pounds, so you can probably ship those.
Ship up to 150 on UPS.
Yep. So.
Regular parcel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would check carpart.com, and I would look for the TSX is a 6-speed and obviously the Civic Si is 6-speed. Yes.
OG Dog, he's got a question. He's got a B18 VTEC. Set the timing on TDC with 10 degrees added. When he revs it up, starts backfiring and has a bad response.
Well, sounds to me like you got slip timing. So two things. I would start off, first of all, turning it to TDC, popping the valve cover off, and making sure those two lines for the camshaft are touching each other basically and straight. And if you get low enough, look at them. They should be even with the top of the cylinder head. That would be what I would check first. If that's okay, the next thing I would do is I would go do a valve adjustment.
I was just thinking
Right.
that. I'm like, we always start valve adjustment.
Valve adjustment.
Just do a valve
Yeah,
adjustment.
do a valve
Get it out of the way.
Yeah. So, but check the timing first before you do a valve adjustment, because if they're off a tooth,
You're not
valve
gonna get it.
adjustment's not gonna help.
Yeah.
So,
We
Oh,
won't even be able to do a proper valve adjustment if it's off.
you could, but it won't be proper.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm
You would
saying.
think it's proper, but it won't be proper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that second gen TSX and the 2012 up SI transmissions, what cables do you run on those? Or what, do you have to use those specifically, or are there
You
other
have
ones?
to use, well, you would use the TSX shift cables.
TSX Accord shift cables.
Yeah. Yeah.
From-
The Accord 2008 to 2013 Accord, or 2009, 2014 TSX shifter and cables.
Okay, so the 8th gen Accord.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I always talk in generations, not years.
Yeah.
Because I can never remember the years.
That's the way you kids are.
Uh-oh, Laura's got
I
it.
don't talk chassis codes.
I'm going back a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit to
no
see
problem.
if this, and I don't know you've addressed this question, Joe. Will an RBC intake fit a K24A4?
Which one's the RBC?
Is the Z3.
Z3? Yeah, absolutely. Bolts right on.
It's right on. There you go.
Somebody's asking,
And then you use the Accord throttle body because it bolts right on.
when will the SIR style hoods be available for pre-order?
SIR, like for CRX and hatch,
I believe so.
Yeah,
Somebody just asked it.
they've been available.
Are you sold out yet?
Oh, yeah. I sold out first day.
New round?
I sold out second day that I had them. The second time I've sold out. So now we're on a third batch that we're waiting on.
Nice.
But this time I'm having fiberglass option. made
Also, yeah.
Uh,
So can people pre-order with you? Obviously, you don't want to, yeah.
yeah. I don't think I've sold
don't
any.
like pre-order.
I don't like doing that.
You don't like taking money early.
Yeah,
But can
mostly
you-
because since I'm having them made, there's nothing I could do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have a schedule, and if I take your money, and then I tell you and all I'm gonna do is they told me 2 weeks, so I'm gonna tell you 2 weeks, and then when 2 weeks comes, you're gonna call me, and then I gotta call them, and they're gonna tell me 3 weeks, and then you're gonna tell me, oh, but you told me 2 weeks. Usually why I
Right,
don't
right,
like
right.
doing that.
Is there any way,
You could
do you have
make-
like a waiting list or something
Waiting
that you
list?
like, that you call people with? Or are you just gonna wait till they're done and say, they're here?
You're pretty much that.
Okay.
I've done the waiting list thing with transmissions. I don't really hear any. anybody back from the same people, you know, because.
Right, because they find it somewhere else and they go get it.
Well,
and,
these hoods, I don't think are the same.
Yeah, the hoods are different, yeah.
That's true. We do have wagons though that have been made. All right, so
Say again?
yep, wagons. So there's a guy in Southern California that had Carbon Trends make him a hood too. He had one made for him, same style, SIR, and he had his done in Kevlar just so he can test. So he's got it on the car now, and I'm trying to get him to understand how he needs to test it so that we can know that it's going to fit. So he told me that he was going to make them because somebody's asking me, and then he got on my page and was saying how I'm having them made. So him and I talked, and so he's going to be the exclusive on the wagons. But just so everybody knows, I'm making 4-door USDM 4-doors. That's already done, or it's already happening. I'm making SIR, true SIRs. And then I'm doing
Actual SIR.
Yeah, and then EF2, so true VTEC 4-door hood also, and EGs too.
Are you going to do ZCs?
I don't know if
You know what?
I
There's
don't know.
probably not a lot of demand for that.
I don't even know if there is.
Oh, you know
any
what?
need for that.
And I think somebody already makes them, so never mind.
Very well.
Yeah,
Cool. They
never
can have
mind.
it.
Oh, yeah, because
But-
our machinist, my other machinist has a ZC hood, and he's about
Yeah,
to
yeah.
buy a new
Yeah.
one.
So the wagon. We'll go back to the wagon.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got Hotsport dual heights. He's got a K20 on the high setting, but he's also got an RBC intake manifold in this thing. So when he sends me the pictures, it's got hood risers on it. I'm like, why is the risers on it? Oh, it didn't fit with the intake manifold, but it should fit without. I was like, well, instead of saying should, can we actually just take the intake manifold off and see? Because if it fits that valve cover, if it fits the K20 in the high settings, that means it fits K24 on where it needs to sit
Right.
too. He's like, oh, well, I can't drop it because my radius arm and this and that. And so I don't know.
Damn him.
So I'm trying to get him, like, this is important that we
Yep.
need to know.
Yeah.
Regardless, to take your arm off, take the intake manifold off so we can see, because then we'll know and I can tell people. But of course, it's a wagon. It's very narrow.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's got real tall slant on it. So I get guys that, well, will this fit with skunk ultra intake manifold? And who knows? I don't know. You know, I don't have every intake
Yeah.
manifold there is out there.
Yeah.
And with the wagon, like, let's just be honest, right? You have a K20, a K series in a wagon. This is probably the best you're gonna get, right? So your intake manifold options are gonna be limited. It is what it is, kind of thing. So
Yep.
I still
Yep.
don't have confirmation on that one, but it's out, and I don't really know what we're waiting on.
But, okay, and that's all through Hush Performance, somebody was asking, just
Sure.
making sure what company,
So,
where he can buy them from.
Yeah.
so,
Okay, Hush
interesting. So
Performance.
I'm gonna talk to Albert about a wagon one, because we have a wagon. I would like to put a K, and I'd like to make it all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
And I wanna call it the War Wagon, because somebody else had one called the War Wagon, and I think it's a cool name, so. Yep.
Somebody wants to know, Robert, are you going to make a brake tuck kit for the EK?
Right now, I'm only doing drag, so it's front brakes only, rear brakes only. Last year I took a step back from help from these guys and Brian Hasty, Fast Brakes. Maybe I don't want to do that, but I'm working with Brian Hasty on something else, which is really
Brian
cool.
Hasty owns Fast Brakes, by the way.
Yes, sorry, yeah. Did
Yep.
I didn't say that, huh?
You might have,
Okay,
you
okay.
might have.
Anyway,
Sorry.
we have something else that's coming out with there that I think is going to trump all that stuff anyway. And
Nice.
Nice.
but until we actually have a functional prototype, we probably
Don't wanna
keep it
talk
on-
about it too much.
We'll keep it on
Yeah.
wraps.
So there's, a lot of people are very interested in the hood. Somebody's asking, what you're thinking on the ETA for the true SIR style hoods, or
Yeah.
true SIR hoods.
When I have them, I'll post.
And then somebody also is begging you to keep posted on the wagon hoods,
Yeah.
cause he needs one very badly.
Well, if you were listening the whole time, then you hear the dilemma that we're at right now. So
Somebody
the wagon,
else is gonna be exclusive on that. So if you're interested in that, I would, Talk to s-
I will have stock because I don't know his ability of shipping things.
Yep.
But I got my shipping department down. I don't know if you've seen my blow foam machine and everything.
Yeah.
I got boxes made and we're ready to go. So I'll be buying some from him after I get confirmation on
They
the
fit
things
in
that
it.
we just talked about.
Cool. And then, I think there's one more question earlier on. Oh, it's 9:00, by the way.
yeah, I know.
How's your new, cable to hydro conversion coming?
We're like near the final stages
Right.
of production.
I saw
I
you
actually
taking
was-
photos yesterday for your instructions.
I was
Yeah.
actually trying to finish it up today. I'll
Mm-hmm.
cut the protos in the morning, and you can bin them and
Yeah.
try them in the car, and hopefully make an announcement. So
Yeah, yeah, the
if it all-
designs,
Yeah.
yeah, the designs are finalized. We've been testing the car with that setup since August. And right now, it's just some finalized.
Yeah, we made a
final
couple
drawings.
of dimensional changes on a few things, so
Yeah.
nothing.
Getting real
everything
close.
pretty
Yeah,
much.
real close for production.
Yeah, when you're taking photos of how to put it in the car, you're
Yeah.
close. All right, one quick question, because this guy's asked it 3 times recently, and then I think we're gonna be done.
Yep.
What do you think of a CRZ CVT with a 1.5 turbo CVT swap?
I actually have a CVT transmission and a 1.5 liter motor that bolts to it. So I think it would fit.
But why would you want an auto tragic?
So
I know they're faster
Not-
in the manuals, actually.
perhaps,
Yes, there's reasons why some people couldn't drive stick. That's a good reason to have a CVT, and the CVTs are faster in the manuals. I know.
Yep.
And
Perhaps there's a reason.
Yeah,
So I do believe it's possible.
it would be cool.
It would be, at some point, I'm gonna make a mount for that because I have to.
Yeah,
I just think it's
that'd
totally
be fun in a
necessary.
CRZ though,
Yeah.
and it fits. Well, not I
It
don't know
would
about
fit-
the
it would-
CVT. The
If I
motor.
make it, once I make it for one car, I can make it for all the cars. Because once I have one that fits, then it's easy for me to figure out how to make it fit and everything.
Cool.
So, interesting. Yeah,
Think it'll be cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right, guys. Hey, it's been another, thank you very much for joining us once again here on Midnight Oil. Robert, thank you very much for coming down. By the way, go check out his YouTube channel, Hush Performance.
Yeah,
And by the way, if it's wintertime, Hasport now has sweatshirts. VTEC Academy has sweatshirts.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
Passport has our sweatshirts out too.
yeah, Hasport has their sweatshirts out. So,
and it's 10% off until the end of the year. for
10%
Hasbro.
off for Hasport till the end of the year, and through you too, right? Are you guys doing sale? You know, don't you get a discount?
Throw them
now,
under the
right?
bus.
Ooh,
right.
Well, I mean, I don't want to
ouch.
hurt your sales or anything, but
He'll sell them too for a
I will.
discount, so.
Yeah, he'll sell 'em.
Yeah, you're not gonna hurt our sales.
okay.
No.
We either sell it through you or sell it
Yeah,
directly, I
you'll-
don't care.
You'll get it.
Yeah, I'm all good. So, anyway, please like, subscribe. We'll be back again next week. Next week, we'll be talking about engine swaps
Yeah,
Yeah.
and everything.
and
Honda.
everything Honda. So, thanks again for joining us. Talk to you later. Bye.
Just gonna sit here silently until it gets shut off.
Yeah. 'cause-
This is where you have those silent, like, pretend conversations,
Yeah,
Till it
exactly.
fades to black.
Yeah.